Hello, lovely Starseeds and lightworkers. I hope you're well as Alexander Quinn. It's very early in the morning here in London. It's about 6 a.m. A.m. in the morning. Can't even talk. And I just want to do a quick recap of where we are energetically. Okay, so Earth is ascending. The frequency of Earth is going upwards. And as a result, people are experiencing ascension symptoms, ringing in the ears, heart palpitations, dizziness, vertigo, sometimes nausea and aches and pains and fatigue. Now, increasingly in the New Age and spiritual communities, when we're getting these big waves that are coming in, there is a want to check something called the KP index, which usually gives us an index of how large a coronal mass ejection is coming from the sun, or sometimes the resonance of Earth measured by the Schumann resonance to get some validation upon what these waves are that spiritual New Age are feeling when they're coming in. Now, as my arcturian previously said, going forward, this is not going to correlate. So what you're going to see going forward is increasingly when you're getting these waves of apparent ascension symptoms, when starseeds and lightworkers are going to the KP index or going to the Schumann resonance to check these scientific measurements to see if it correlates with their symptoms, increasingly more and more and more, you're going to see it won't. And the reason for that is a message that I've had to channel from the Arcturians. It's scientific because I'm not a scientist myself. So I'm going to read this out shortly, but I want to give a very brief explanation. Often you will hear channels talking about the veil going down. Some of my clients often refer to the magnetic master, Cryon, who is working with the veil, and the veil is going down. Now, the sun creates a magnetic shield, shall we call it, called the heliosphere. Now that goes out well past our solar system, but it creates a barrier between the cosmic radiation that is trying to get into our solar system. And at the moment in time, the sun's gravitational field is going down. And so the heliosphere, that barrier between us and the rest of the cosmic radiation in this galaxy, that barrier is going down, but it's wobbling as well. So when we get those giant wobbles, a whole lot of flux of that radiation is able to come in and hit us. So when starseeds and lightworkers are looking at the KP index or the Schumann resonance and they're going, oh, I just had a massive wave come in, or I feel dizzy, or let's quickly go and check the KP index or the Schumann resonance to see what is scientifically happening on Earth, and nothing is happening, is because it's not coming from our sun, although our sun is affecting where it is coming from, but it is coming from outside of this solar system related to the sun's heliosphere, which is wobbling, but oscillating, but also allowing as its gravitational field to go down to let more of that coming in. And that's why it's coming in. Now, our scientific measurements can't always read some of these light codes, photonic codes. And that is what is happening. So I'm not a scientist, but the Arcturians are scientists, and they have the most incredible way of being able to talk about these energies. And that's why I thought, Alexander, you better just get out of the way and let the professionals talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do. So about 2 days ago, I sat down, I went into a long channel. Funnily enough, I'll a quick short story. I went into such a deep channel that I had a client session afterwards, and I could barely even function during the client session. I had to say, you're gonna have to give me a moment just to come back. So here is the message, and this is the Arcturians, the Arcturian Light Command talking about this very thing I'm talking about, but in an actual scientific way that is realistic beyond my limited scientific capability. So here we go. I'm just going to read it out. If you're somewhere, get comfortable. If you're in a car, turn it up, and I'm going to read it out. Okay. So the universe is filled with invisible, powerful forces. Amongst them, radiation from the stars, black holes, and supernovae or novae, including forms of energy so intense that life on Earth would not survive if left completely unprotected. Fortunately, you have been cocooned within two critical layers of defense. The first being Earth's magnetic field, and the second, the heliosphere. a vast magnetic bubble generated by the sun. In recent decades, however, both of these shields have begun to weaken, and the consequences for Earth are significant in that the transformation that so many on your planet now call for. The heliosphere is a vast bubble-like region of space that surrounds the entire solar system. It is formed by the solar wind, a stream of charged particles, electrons and protons, continuously emitted by your sun. These particles move outward. They carry sun's magnetic field with them, creating a protective magnetic shield that expands far beyond the orbit of the planet you know as the Transformer, the ninth planet, or simply Pluto. The boundary of this region, which your science calls the heliopause, is where the outward pressure of the solar wind is balanced by the inward pressure of the interstellar medium, the gas and the cosmic radiation that fills the space between the stars. The heliosphere has protected the planets. I'm guessing all of the planets ascending then, if they're all getting hit by this radiation, not just Earth. The planets from galactic cosmic rays, otherwise known as how your scientists call it, GCRs, which are high energy particles originating from supernova explosions and other energetic events in deep space, including cosmic background radiation. It has also shielded you from light reaching your dense planet that would otherwise have awakened you faster. This protective barrier has kept you in a chrysalis-like slumber, a state which various consciousnesses have taken advantage of over eons. Some on your planet refer to this as the veil, though that is only part of the explanation, dear lightworkers. Over the past few decades, scientists on your planet have observed a scientific weakening of the solar wind pressure, leading to a concentration of the heliosphere, a contraction of the heliosphere. Space probes launched by your species, I love how they refer to us as your species, God, have crossed the heliosphere, the heliopause in recent years and confirmed that the boundary is now closer than expected. Solar wind pressure has dropped by over 20% since your year 1990. As a result, light particles and cosmic radiation have increasingly entered your solar neighborhood. Interstellar radiation levels have risen dramatically with increasing particles beyond some of what the measurable parameters of Earth scientists currently rely on. I've just been speaking about that, the KP index and the Schumann resonance and a few other things. The magnetic field strength embedded in the solar wind has also declined. A shrinking heliosphere allows more galactic radiation to enter the solar system, affecting planetary atmospheres and increasing radiation exposure for aircraft, astronauts, and even commercial airline crews. This influx of radiation will also influence the magnetic fields of various planets, including Earth. As Earth's magnetic field begins to shift, evidenced by the North Magnetic Pole's rapid movement towards Severnagio-Zemlya, a region in Siberia, it also affects Earth crystalline grids and the energy lines, sometimes referred to as ley lines, that form part of the planet's energetic system. However, the heliosphere doesn't just block radiation, it also modulates space weather by filtering certain energetic particles. When solar activity is high, the heliosphere expands and deflects more cosmic rays. But during solar minimum, when the sun is less active, cosmic rays can penetrate more easily. This means you are now receiving increasing amounts of cosmic light data even as the sun is at its peak activity, an unusual combination. This has widespread effects on life systems on Earth, including your physical bodies. As the sun's magnetic field weakens, the interplanetary magnetic field carried by the solar wind becomes less effective at deflecting charged particles. This results in a greater influx of cosmic rays into the Earth's magnetosphere, contributing to what many sensitives and individuals experience as heightened spiritual, emotional, and physical transformations. In your spiritual terms, this is part of the veil being lifted. The Earth's magnetic field is generated by the movement of molten core in its outer core. Sorry, flat earthers, I'm just a messenger. Outer core, or what your science refers to as the geodynamo. This field extends tens of thousands of kilometers into space, forming a magnetosphere that deflects most of the solar wind and cosmic radiation. Without this field, or what some refer to as the veil, another type of veil, Earth would exist in a much slower, denser third dimensional state. But with the field, but the field is not static, dear light workers. Over the past 200 years, Earth's magnetic field has weakened by up to 10%. And the North Magnetic Pole is now driving towards Siberia at over 50 kilometers per year, with some galactics and magnetic servants to light also stepping in to aid in its becoming. So we're having help, conscious help from celestial and galactic beings. This shift has led scientists to hypothesize that Earth may be entering the early stages of a geomagnetic pole reversal, a phenomenon that has occurred many times in geological history. During such events, the magnetic field does not disappear entirely, but weakens and becomes chaotic, with multiple north and south poles appearing temporarily. While a full reversal would take thousands of years, the current weakening already allows for more solar cosmic radiation to penetrate the atmosphere. This will have serious implications for aviation, satellites, electrical grids, and biological life, especially at high altitudes and polar regions. Now, they're talking about electrical grids. Now, look what just happened in Portugal. I put out a very detailed post about what happened in Portugal. That was partly not because of a solar CME. It was not a coronal mass ejection that caused it, but increasing capacitated solar electromagnetic energy that is having an effect on what call space weather, but increasingly Earth weather and wild temperature fluctuations. And Earth is acting as a capacitator itself, holding in with the crystalline grids that energy. So it's not always. I saw some of the comments on my post about Portugal. Oh, it was just a CME that caused it. It was much more complex than that because there was no CME when Portugal happened, as there was no coronal mass ejection when the Heathrow Airport terminals blew up, and there was on a smaller scale Maida Vale. There was a big fire in Maida Vale, and so you're going to see parts of the electrical networks faltering in what is, shall I say, spiritually a new type of energy coming into Earth. And as we know, the new energy coming into Earth will highlight where old systems don't work and have to be renewed, and so on and so forth. Back to their message. One of the reasons so many are now awakening at such a exponential rate is because the weakening of both the heliosphere, one veil, and Earth's magnetosphere, another veil, is exposing the planet to cosmic radiation far beyond what has been typical. In historical cases on Earth, scientists exposed to high levels of ionizing radiation, such as gamma rays and X-rays and high energy particles, have suffered severe consequences. These forms of radiation can break chemical bonds in DNA, especially causing double strand breaks. If the cell's repair mechanisms cannot fix the damage permanently, mutations accumulate. Over time, this can result in cancer, disrupted cellular function, or cell death. In such scenarios, damage is often irreversible and ultimately leads to systemic failure at the cellular level. However, in the case of your current corporeal bodies, this radiation is triggering a dormant genetic coding. Okay, so we all know about that, yeah? Or what some call a genetic torment code to awaken. That must be a scientific code that presumably is a real thing. This initiates a biological adaptation process, signaling the body to evolve towards a new way of being aligned with higher frequencies. So we're seeing that with needing less sleep, needing to eat less, the way you live, work, eat, sleep, and so on and so forth, and basically coming out of things that are not in alignment with you. And if you've seen my previous videos, I've spoken about that in enormous detail. So go back to the last two videos to watch about how I talk about being in your soul's resistances and so on and so forth. So we're almost at the end of this message. Many of you are experiencing this as a shift in lifestyle, priorities, consciousness as you move into a new Earth paradigm. Yeah, nothing we don't already know there. With the protective shields of Earth and the sun thinning galactic cosmic rays, GCRs, and gamma rays now face fewer obstacles on their journey to Earth. In effect, dear light workers, you are now on the home stretch. You are now entertaining the lowering, not of just the veil, but two working together. These high energy particles interact with the atmosphere to produce secondary particle showers, such as muons, and I hope I channeled that right, and neutrons. Muons doesn't mean anything to me, but it's the way it came through. And if I got it wrong, just let me know in the comments section. I do apologize. That can reach the ground. Okay, so these particles are now reaching the ground. These interactions are already influencing the biosphere, potentially accelerating the extinction and the evolution of certain species, just as humanity is undergoing their own evolution. Those who are unable or unwilling to adapt will depart Earth or from their own free will choice, sometimes already written by their own contracts. This cosmic exposure also places stress on Earth's technological infrastructures if it is in a if it is of an older vibration. Electrical and power systems will continue to feel the effects of energetic influx, leading to failures or a need for a faster innovation. Some light workers will have incarnated at this time to help implement new energy systems that are free, clean, and universally accessible. These will emerge as the old structures relinquish control, whether by choice or by necessity. This evolution is inevitable as the light on your planet is now rising exponentially and cannot be stopped. So don't forget, dear Starseeds and light workers, there has been this emphasis on, okay, there's a big end, I'm feeling something, it must be a coronal mass ejection. Yeah. What you're going to see increasingly now is that the Earth is capacitating this energy and holding on to it via its magnetic grids and different systems, etherically and physically. And the frequency of Earth is now rising to now, in many cases, match these coronal mass ejections that are coming in. So in time, when these coronal mass ejections coming in, you're actually not going to feel much of a difference unless they are the really big ones. But increasingly, what you are now going to feel is all of these smaller background radiation cosmic pulses coming in as the heliosphere is wobbling, which you won't be able to see in the science. So no, you're not going mad, but it's not coming from the sun, although the sun is causing it, but it's coming from further out into space. And don't forget, as our solar system travels through a different type of photonic energy, yeah, through that monastic ring, it's causing the sun to speed up this activity and turn whiter as opposed to when it used to be a more yellow kind of color. So I hope that helps, and I will be putting out more posts next week just to try and keep you all updated. For those that read my post recently about May, the way forward is clear. Yeah, we've got some really good astrological, energetic energies coming in that are starting to clear the way forward beyond all of the retrogrades and the eclipse energies and any stagnation and blockages that you've been encountering or that has been occurring to you or that you have been subconsciously creating in your holographic matrix. So there's a lot of energy clearing up now to begin manifesting for the rest of the year. I hope you all have an incredible weekend. I'm not going to sing Aha, Take On Me again this week, although I did contemplate starting the video with it this week for a bit of a bit of fun. But I thought we had some serious brass tacks to get down to, so I thought we need to get that out of the way. Maybe if you give me enough comments in the video section and all suggest another 80s song, maybe I tell you what, I'll cut all of you a deal. I'll cut you all of you a deal. If you go in the comment section down here on this video, and if all of you tell me an 80s song that you want me to sing, and if enough of you all give me one that I can see that clearly there's an outlier, I will, embarrassingly and unfortunately, I will start my next video with that 80s song. I'll sing it. Okay? Oh God, the things I let my I'm a good sport. I am a very good sport, I have to say. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this video up because I am going to go to Glastonbury this weekend. So I'll be going down the M3, A303, cruising into Glastonbury, and I'll be doing some work there this weekend. And I wish you a very happy beginning of May. It's May 2nd today. The energies are intense, very, very intense, yeah? And many of you are feeling the effects on the body, yeah? So, a quick message from my arcturian. Take a deep breath and relax. You are worth it. You are powerful. You've got this. You can do this. You are going to get through this. And you're magical. And don't forget to laugh and be joyful. Earth is a great place. It can be a great place. Want to stay here, want to be here. I love you. Bye for now.